On September 2, 2008, the high-speed ferry, the Venetian, was transiting from Hong Kong to Macau through the Kingshu HSC traffic separation scheme. The Chinese fishing vessel, the YUE Tai Shan 33040, was crossing the traffic separation scheme at a near 90-degree angle in restricted visibility of less than 100 meters due to heavy rain. The YUE Tai Shan was not displaying proper lights, was not fitted with a radar, which was not required for their vessel, nor did they have a whistle on board. They were also not aware that they were transiting across a traffic separation scheme. The Venetian was traveling at over 40 knots. It did not reduce her speed when the visibility reduced. Additionally, the Venetian's watch officers were trying to adjust and improve the radar picture, and they were unable to. After giving up on the radar, that officer moved to visual lookout. At approximately 11:43 local time, the Venetian struck the YUE Tai Shan, killing the captain. The captain's wife was also on board, who managed to survive. Minor injuries were reported on board the Venetian. However, she was able to make it into Macau under her own power. Today we're going to take a look at Rule 10, traffic separation schemes. For this rule, it's exactly the same for both international and inland. So we'll be able to cover both sides all at once. There's also, inside this rule, there are no references to other rules, just references with inside the rule itself. So Rule 10, both international and inland, traffic separation schemes. A. This rule applies to traffic separation schemes adopted by the organization and does not relieve any vessel of her obligation under any other rule. You still have to comply with all the other rules while complying with the rules for Rule 10. B. A vessel using a traffic separation scheme shall 1. Proceed in the appropriate traffic lane in the general direction of traffic flow for that lane. 2. So far as practicable, keep clear of a traffic separation line or separation zone. 3. Normally join or leave a traffic lane at the termination of the lane, but when joining or leaving from either side, shall do so at as small an angle to the general direction of traffic flow as practicable. This is no different than when you merge with traffic on the highway. You're not going to cut across and dive in. You're going to work your way in to traffic. C. A vessel shall, so far as practicable, avoid crossing traffic lanes, but if obliged to do so, shall cross on a heading as nearly as practicable at right angles to the general direction of traffic flow. So if you have to go across a traffic separation scheme, go straight across. Don't come in on an angle, no weaving, bobbing, straight across. D. Part 1. A vessel shall not use an inshore traffic zone when she can safely use the appropriate traffic lane within the adjacent traffic separation scheme. However, vessels of less than 20 meters in length, sailing vessels, and vessels engaged in fishing may use the inshore traffic zone. 2. Notwithstanding subparagraph D, Part 1, so the rule we just read, a vessel may use an inshore traffic zone when en route to or from a port, offshore installation or structure, pilot station, or any other place situated within the inshore traffic zone, or to avoid immediate danger. So, you can use the inshore traffic zone if what you have to get to is inside the traffic zone, or if you have to avoid immediate danger. E. A vessel other than a crossing vessel, or a vessel joining or leaving a lane, shall not normally enter a separation zone or cross a separation line except 1. In cases of emergency to avoid immediate danger, 2. To engage in fishing within a separation zone. F. A vessel navigating in areas near the terminations of traffic separation schemes shall do so with particular caution. G. A vessel shall, so far as practicable, avoid anchoring in a traffic separation scheme or in areas near its termination. H. A vessel not using a traffic separation scheme shall avoid it by as wide a margin as is practicable, Keep out of the way. I. A vessel engaged in fishing shall not impede the passage of any vessel following a traffic lane. J. A vessel of less than 20 meters in length or a sailing vessel shall not impede the safe passage of a power-driven vessel following a traffic lane. So this means anything smaller than 20 meters or sailboats or anything under sail itself, not using machinery power, but sail power, shall not impede your safe passage of a power-driven vessel within that traffic lane. K. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver when engaged in an operation for the maintenance of safety of navigation in a traffic separation scheme is exempted from complying with this rule to the extent necessary to carry out the operation. So in this situation, if they're maintaining the buoy, if they're dredging, day boards, what have you, if they have to be in there to maintain the aids to navigation or maintain the channel, they can be in there and they are not in the way, so to speak. L. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver when engaged in an operation for the laying, servicing, or picking up of a submarine cable within a traffic separation scheme is exempted from complying with this rule to the extent necessary to carry out the operation. The YUE TAI SHAN 33040 was in clear violation of the traffic separation scheme rules. In particular, Part I, a vessel engaged in fishing shall not impede the passage of a vessel following a traffic lane. And J, a vessel of less than 20 meters in length or a sailing vessel shall not impede the passage of a power-driven vessel following a traffic lane. As the YUE TAI SHAN was only 18.6, 18.7 meters long. Additionally, she was not making any sound signals, and she wasn't properly lit. The Venetian was in violation of Rule 6, safe speed. She was also in violation of Rule 7, risk of collision, in particular, making decisions based on scanty radar information. They couldn't get a radar fix, an appropriate fix, because they couldn't see through the fog, or through the heavy rain. And as a result, they decided to maintain their high speed. They also failed to comply with Rule 8, actions to avoid collision, which is to make maneuvers in sufficient time. Now, both vessels were in violation of Rule 19, which we're going to touch on later on in this series. But Rule 19 is the conduct of vessels in restricted visibility. Neither boat was sounding the appropriate whistle signal or conducting themselves in a manner that complies with that rule. The question of our week last week. Both international and inland. The vessel that displays a ball, diamond, and ball day shapes in a vertical line would display what lights at night? The answer is 3 all-round lights, consisting of 1 red, 1 white, and then 1 red in a vertical line. This week's winners are John Avery, Sean LeBlanc, and Mark J. Thank you for submitting your answers. This week's question. Both international and inland. What angle is each side light supposed to shine through? A, 225 degrees, B, 180 degrees, C, 90 degrees, or D, 112.5 degrees. Please include your answers in the comments below. Next week, we will move on and look at Section 2, the conduct of vessels in sight of one another. And we're going to take a look at the application of those rules, which is Rule 11, and we'll take a look at sailing vessels and how they have to conduct themselves when in sight, which is Rule 12. If you happen to know of anybody that may benefit from or be interested in these segments, please share this with them. Spreading the word of mouth is the only way that we're going to be able to grow this segment and reach as wide an audience as possible. So it's up to you, my followers, my viewers, to share so that we can grow the series. Please remember to click like, subscribe, and please stay safe out there, everyone. Have a great week.